Hello to everyone and welcome to the webinar Self-Awareness and Self-Efficiency for Successful Business. Thank you very much for participating in the webinar. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Lisa Zordel. I'm from BWCon and today I will be the moderator of the webinar. Marta Turk will be the presenter of the webinar today, and now we decided that we want to make an interactive webinar, so everyone can say his opinion, or if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Also, you can use the question and answer window and to ask some questions afterwards. The webinar will also be recorded and uploaded afterwards on our YouTube channel, and the link will be available on our Women in Business platform. So now I would like to give the floor to you, Marta.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Maybe this time you could put me on the screen too, if you can. So at least they will be able to see me if I will not be able to see everybody who is online with this webinar now. So hello from Slovenia again, and I hope that you all feel, let's say, reasonably well in this situation in which all countries are in. I asked Lisa to help me with this webinar in a way that you would all be connected and be able to communicate directly, because to speak about motivation and self-motivation, it's not about definition, but it is about how we are dealing with the problems in which we are in the present situation. So first, I would like to ask everybody who is participating now to give a little bit of presentation, what you do and how is the situation in your, let's say, place, in your city. Where are you from?
Sorry, Marta, for interrupting, but for me it's not possible to share your camera. So if you want to, you have to try on your own to start the camera.
Okay, so I have to go out from the presentation, something like this. And start video. Yes, that would be okay.
Yes,
so hello.
Now we can see both the presentation and
yeah, you can. But should I put on the presentation on big screen, or I will leave it like this? Should I put it like that?
Maybe you could try it.
Yes,
perfect.
Okay, great. So as I invited you, please, can you say a little words about the situation in which you are in? You present yourself, in which city do you live, and what is the situation in your place regarding this isolation which we are all in? Hamna is on, and Daniela Bulat I see, and Styria is there, Irina Kircheva is there. Can you speak a little bit?
Hi, Marta, I can start.
Yes, please.
From Rapid, Varna, Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Well, it is already the second week that we are working from home.
Yes.
And mostly we have this challenge that you cannot move out around the city. That was since last week. And of course, we are grateful that we can continue to work from home. There are other people and professionals that cannot do that. And of course, we are learning a lot of new things in terms of digital tools, how to make conference calls, how to communicate with friends online. And for me personally, I try to stay connected with my family, which is in other countries also affected by this situation. What can I say? For now, we manage, and I hope that we'll keep up the good spirit and get through all this together.
Yeah. So when we say that we have to adapt to the situation, which is, let's say, at the end of all the list, what we have to do is adaptation, and after the adaptation, motivate ourselves to do some changes. So the first change is that we learn, if we did not do before, how to work from home and how to be connected remotely from with other, let's say, partners in our job, but not everybody can do that. And mostly it's only to support our communication instead of really doing work and selling our services, for example. Maybe next participant would share the experience. Who is the next? Do I see Daniela Bulat? So nobody else is there, okay?
Hello, Marta. Amna speaking. Dobar
Hi,
dan.
Amna.
So I'm coming from Maribor Development Agency, from the Division for International Cooperation. And of course, a lot of our friends and colleagues all over the Europe are infected and isolated. So I try to keep in touch either by email, by WhatsApp, by all kinds of social media. But I would say that this coronavirus and isolation has also a positive impact on the internal communication within our division. We have daily Skype meeting, and I think it's motivational. We are talking not only about what we are preparing and what we are discovering, but also exchanging the information and views about what is going on in the world and how it will probably or hopefully not look like in the future. So we are trying to gather all kinds of data and prepare some measures for the future. So from the fact that I'm kept home, I feel very well, because I like actually working from home, and it would be my dream to find the next job where the employer will say, okay, you can stay at home and work at home for us. So
Good, great. But not all the time is good to work from home, because we need social contacts. We need, let's say, some friendly environment in which we can meet other people and share experience directly in live form, not only in remote form. You mentioned that you have some friends who are really ill now. Is it true? I hope that it's not.
No. They are all
not infected. No, okay.
Yeah, they are only from the very affected areas like Italy, Spain, Portugal. Yeah.
Well, the problem which we are facing, speaking of companies, especially small and micro companies, speaking of Slovenia, but probably in other countries is very similar, is that they are not, or we are not allowed to work at all. So all the communication with the market is went down, and this is the biggest problem, because not many activities can be done on the remote way. And I would like to see how was the experience in other countries regarding that question. For example, one activity which was organized these last, let's say, 5 days in Slovenia, speaking of small companies and micro companies and self-employed people, was the activity which was sent directly to our government, because the government was not considering the importance of SMEs, and all the measures to support the economy were dedicated to bigger companies instead of helping also self-employed people. And most self-employed people are female companies. So we are very happy that after lobbying all around Slovenia, this morning the government gave us the information that they changed the legislation, and now measures are also dedicated to self-employed people and to small and micro companies. So this is, let's say, a victory, which are very happy to share also with others. We would like to know what is the experience in other countries. Can anybody share with us?
Hi, I'm not sure if you hear me.
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah, hi, I'm Isabella. I live in France, and we have pretty much the same problem. We're totally confined. We're not even allowed to go. Well, we're allowed to go shopping, but we're not allowed to go to the forest in around Paris. And government is promising, but mostly for big businesses. The banks are moving towards negotiations and discussions, so it looks good, but for now it's only promises, but we're not very sure if it really will happen, if if small companies and micro companies will be really helped, and how fast.
Mhm. So you expect that many of micro companies are going to close their companies?
Well, the government says they'll help everybody, but yes, we're expecting big problems, because France had very big problems for many months now with strikes. So, and the yellow jackets, maybe you've heard of it. So France has been in a big black hole, and the sanitary problems are huge. We don't have masks, and we're kind of afraid that small companies will sort of be a bit forgotten on the way.
So then we are very lucky that we received this message from the government today. They're going to help self-employed companies and micro companies by how to say, canceling their monthly obligation for their dues for social security and pensions for 3 months, which is very good, because before they did not give us this possibility.
Yeah, no, there you're right. We have the same possibility, but actually they're thinking about putting money to give us 1,500 euros to survive the next month, but that's not for sure. But we don't have to pay our social obligations till July or till June. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, it means that we will be left alone on the market finding new options, but during these 3, 4, or 5, even 5 months, the situation will be very, very, very difficult for all micro companies.
Will be
this
challenging.
Is important also, if I don't know how many future entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs are participants to this webinar, but this is important to understand also for them what kind of, let's say, obligation they take over by registering a company and being self-employed. That means that you always have to have a part, some kind of safety money to overlive this kind of situation, which will probably happen also in the future for some other reasons, because the foreseeing of the, let's say, economic crisis was speaked out already last year, but we did not expect that it will be initiated by the disease, the global disease, which is the coronavirus now. Okay, thank you, Petit Ventre, for helping us understanding what is the situation in France. What about other countries? Do we have, let's say, somebody from Austria to share the experience?
Yes, hello, here's Claudia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I usually have troubles at the beginning of Skype meetings or webinars. So first of all, I would like to say hello to everybody. Nice to hear you. It makes me aware that you are healthy. I would like to say hello to Isabella because I invited her today, this morning, and I said we have a very nice we have a very, very nice webinar. So France doesn't belong to our Danube region, but I think in times like this, it's very interesting to hear all these different speeches from different countries, especially from the small entrepreneurs. Yes, we have the same situation like anywhere. I would say in my case and also in Sandra's case, we are quite lucky, I think, still. So we are still healthy, also our families. We in Austria, they put many measurements already. For our opinion, they act quite quick. So we have also different packages from the government to help companies and also the small companies. So we have for the big companies, we have short time work and all the things what also in other countries going on already as well. But they split it up as I understand it, or as I can see, like for employees in trade, for example, or they have hardship funds now for also smaller companies, which will be in cash. We don't know how much at the moment, but they will be get really cash, which is not refundable. So it's, I think I'm quite satisfied with the way Austria is acting at the moment. Really like to say this. And what's really going on in the future, we will see at the end of the day, I would say. And yes, it will be very hard, especially for the small companies. But also, on the other hand, I think there will be new changes, always having some chance to do something new, to maybe, change opinions. And we will see where this way will going to. So I think very hard times will come for economic, for sure. For some people, it will be more hard than for others. And I hope at least this group will stick together and support each other as good we can in these times. And I very appreciate that we start this webinar today with this issue. Thanks again, Marta.
Okay, thank you. I think it's the most important that we really share experiences and to help each other in this situation. Maybe, I don't know, designing something new approaches, new solutions, new ideas which we can use in our countries. I think for that reason, I started this webinar speaking of motivation, because I must say that at the beginning, on 13th of March, when we heard that we are going to stay at home, I was very angry of the situation, because I said, what can we do? How can I organize my work? And also, I must say that we were very much disappointed, because we are preparing our biggest event, 500 Women Entrepreneurs. It was meant to be on April 15, and now we had to postpone it, and we still don't we are not sure if September is a good date enough, speaking of the effects which this situation will have on all business environment, everybody. Especially we are dedicated our event to young women entrepreneurs and startups and so on, and they don't have money if they don't produce nothing. So for several months they will not be able to even survive, not to participate to the conference, which they have to participate also in financial way, buying tickets. And of course, from our side of point of sight, we cannot do a conference without getting payment from participants, and of course sponsors. And sponsors went away, because now it's not this is not the first activity which they will dedicate their activities and so on. So it's really a lot of things which are going to be changed, and we have to find new solutions, not only for this important meeting, but of course for our activities on service sector, because service sector, I think, has the most problems in this moment, because I know many companies where they are doing some production or redirecting their production, even selling, and it is going on, but in the service sector it is not going on. Okay, but let us go a little bit further with the question of the motivation. So what is really a motivation? What comes on your mind by saying motivation? For myself, I was preparing this seminar and thinking about motive, what does it mean? It's something to do with motion, with some kind of activity, but what is anybody of you thinking about the motivation? What does it mean? What comes to your mind? Who can share with you? What's your first thought, for example? Is it work, something to do, something to act, something to change? Is it wish, will,
Goal.
something inside yourself, yes?
A goal.
The goal.
A place you want to be in the near future.
Yeah, great. A goal is very important motivator, of course. So is it something to do with yourself inside? Oh, I must do something to make these changes. What do I do? How do I do? I want to do it. Or I wish something. So if you have some aspiration, you would like to do something, it has to be connected to your motivation. It is your motivation to do, to make changes. What about energy? Energy also is also very important in connection with the motivation. If we don't have energy, then we cannot also develop our own self-motivation. So what is a self-motivation? Can we see any difference between a motivation as general and self-motivation? Any comment from anybody from you? What is the self-confidence? Is there a difference between self-motivation and self-confidence?
I think that it is
Yes?
it is essential for the entrepreneurs to have self-motivation, because motivation from the outside comes when you're employed, when you're fulfilling someone else's dreams. But when you're an entrepreneur on your own, you have to have a really strong inner motivation, and you have to have something that drives your action every day.
Yes.
And it is very important characteristic of an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Self-motivation, and it is very much connected also to the self-confidence, don't you agree? Because the self-confidence is what you feel about yourself, what do you have in your inside, what do you believe that you are capable to do, and it is very much connected to the self-motivation when you are starting your own company, because you start your own company mostly on what you know, on your know-how, your knowledge, your experience, your values, and so on. Isn't it so? So the self-motivation is the energy which drives you to act, to do, to move. While the self-confidence is the let's say the value which you have in your side, that you can start, make changes and act. Do you agree with me?
Yes, absolutely. They go hand in hand. Cannot be motivated without having confidence in yourself.
Yeah, of course. But the question is, in the, let's say, in difficult situation, what moves us to be self-motivated? In this example in which we are living in this moment, Amna before said that it's a lot of good also in the situation which is a bad one. And she discovered that she would like to work from home also in the future with, let's say, any possible new employer. She would like to agree that she would be able to work from home. That's one, let's say, interesting result of having a positive result of the bad situation. But if we look further, first we had to stay at home. Then we were deprived of our communication with other people. Then we cannot work at all. Then we cannot buy things which we need even if we would like to work from home. So we are pushed back, we are deprived of our, let's say, freedom which we had before that. So first we adapt, and then we have to discover in ourselves what to do and self-motivate us to move, to change. For example, we see a lot of entrepreneurs now who are giving their presentations and webinars also in internet, which they didn't do before. Now they are doing it for free. For example, I'm invited this evening at 8 o'clock to listen to one seminar, international seminar, and the offer will be given to small companies to do some new, I don't know, product. I don't know which one because we are going to be informed this evening. But we are trying to discover new ways of surviving this situation if it will last very long. We don't know how long it will last. So one of the big important motivator is that we are afraid of not being able to work, not being able to gain money, not being able to buy things, to buy food, and so on. So the being scared is very big important motivator. But not only that one. We have needs in our lives, and for these needs which we would like to fulfill, you know, the Maslow theory is the one who is giving us the drive for being self-motivated. So self-motivation is kind of courage which you have inside, we have inside, to push our boundaries. We are able to make some efforts and step out of our comfort zone. When we are speaking with unemployed people, because we are doing some projects with people who are, let's say, losing their jobs because not in this situation, but even before, they are usually used to sit down and expect that the system, the country, everybody else is going to do something for their situation of being unemployed. They are sitting in some kind of comfort zone. And the most difficult part of making changes in their life is to teach them how to go out from their comfort zone, but they have to do it themselves. It's not possible to be done by the system. So somebody must realize the importance of going out on to see what's happening and to change the situation from the comfort zone to the action zone. This is the ability to motivate a person. So it drives the people to keep going, even when it's difficult, even when we are in the situation like now. We are taking different opportunities of which we did not believe before that they are happening, that they are there, and we just have to reach out for them. So is there any comment from anybody from participants now? Do you agree with me? Have you felt this thing in yourself?
I think it's always interesting when, sorry. Yes. I think it's always very interesting when we get pushed out of our comfort zone. That's when things happen.
Yeah, I agree. So the Maslow hierarchy of needs, we know everybody very well, but maybe for our participants who are maybe beginners at entrepreneurship, first, of course, people are interested in fulfill their needs, speaking of physiology, like hunger, thirst, sleep. We like to have this security which is given by physiology. Like we don't like to be hungry, we don't like to have thirst, we want to have comfort, sleeping, and so on. Second level of our needs is mostly connected with our safety and security. We want to have good home, we are building good houses, we want to be healthy, we want our family to be healthy, and so on. But on the next level, there's friendship and social relationships, and of course love and partnership, which is very important. Then on the next level, when we achieve all these goals, we were speaking at the beginning, we were defining the goal, is a self-esteem. So we, through our education, through our experiences, through our work, we want to be recognized and we want to also achieve our goals. So when we do all that and we achieve all these, we are on the last level of our needs, which is self-actualization. We want to achieve and use full potential which we have. So through these needs, if we analyze what is happening to us now in this situation, we see that we are on this third, let's say, level of our needs. All these levels are fulfilled, like we have our home, we have our safety and security, speaking of being closed down in our shelter. We are afraid already for our health and for the health of our loved ones, of course, but we are not fulfilled on our next level of needs, like social partnership, friendship, relationships, internationalization, activities, and so on. For that, we can really analyze what will happen between people. We see already that, for example, we are more and more afraid, and if you have seen some video which we were shared from Serbia, Serbia involved some very, very severe methods, like how do you say, banned hours of activity outside, outdoor activities, and a person went out with his dog just to take the dog out, and policemen and military came and he took the person out of the street. So this is very severe attack to the freedom of a person, which we don't like anymore. We are not used to that, and some human rights are also affected by the activity or situation which we are living now. So we would like a motivated persons, we would like to do some changes, adaptation, and we look forward to have the end of this situation as soon as possible. On the other hand, we see all these messages from Italy and Spain, and we see that we don't know when the situation will be ended. So we need to have a lot of self-motivational actions, because if not, we are going to stay at home, and more depression will enter in our, I don't know, minds and hearts. And for that reason, of course, these communications using the internet is very important, because then we can give some comfort to each other too, waiting for better times, of course, in the future. So the adaptation and changes is very important. So what kind of changes can we introduce in our lives? Somebody is communicating. Claudia, you wanted to share something? Hello?
No?
Yeah.
Why? Did you mean me?
No, I heard something, and I thought that maybe you would like to.
Oh, sorry for that.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. So all this knowledge about how to motivate people and how to motivate ourselves is important also for our future young entrepreneurs who are participating to this seminar. Maybe they can share a little bit what are they thinking about their future in this situation. Are they still very keen to start their companies, or when they would like to start their companies? Anybody can share with us? Yeah? No. Okay. So there are some supreme values which represent the sense of our life. And the less important values, of course, we know which are. But if we put the priorities in our lives and define these highly important values, then we also start to motivate ourselves to make changes. For example, if I'm a person who have always mess in my room, and I always have to do something to put things in order, to clean my room and to, I don't know, clean the kitchen. And I'm not doing it all the time, but just once a month. That means that it's not a problem of cleaning, but it's the problem that I have to do something with my attitudes, my way of how do I, my attitude which changed in this situation. So the important thing or message from somebody with, let's say, a long time experience is that first you have to see what are you good, let's say, attitudes, and what should you change. If you do like your personal SWOT analysis of how to achieve your goals by changing your bad attitudes to good attitudes. Of course, if you set down the priorities, the list of priorities. So to understand ourselves, of course, we have to define our motivations, our goals, our possibilities, the environment in which we live, the situation in which we live, and define what are we going to do with our company or our entrepreneurial skills and so on. So all this is a question of motivation and a rational reaction. What is really a motivation? It's something which is a rational thing or is more emotional thing. I think that it's more emotional, because when I want to do something, it's because of my emotion or my necessity to be free or to be loved or to be secure. So it means it does not have much to do with ratio, but with emotion, with emotional approach. So how do we decide to make changes? Is it in ourselves? Yes, of course, it's in ourselves. So the feelings, how do we react to the word emotion? What does it mean? Speaking from the emotional part of view, it's up to your decision. So set your priority list and start making changes. Now it's a good time because we don't have much time to go outside. Last time you were asking me what kind of I don't know, books regarding the topics I would suggest. And this time I would like to suggest you to go to YouTube and write down Simon Sinek. He has a very good list of very good videos on motivation, self-motivation, achievement, and also of education and communication with children, with families, with partners, and so on. So I would suggest that that would be a very good way to spend your time and listen and look to the video of Simon Sinek. Of course, there's also other motivational videos on YouTube. So try to see and look at them and try to use some of good messages. With this, I would conclude this webinar today, and I look forward to see you next time in better situation. I hope by concluding this closure, we say closure, because of this epidemia, and I hope that you will be wealthy and well for the next time.
Thank you very much, Marta. So I'm just wanted to ask if there are still some questions from the participants. If not, thank you very much for your time, and thanks to all for participating. And tomorrow there will be another webinar with the topic ways to improve your emotional intelligence, starting at 6 p.m. And I hope you will be there. Stay healthy.
Okay. Bye bye to everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.